this video, I will be demonstrating making succotash using the recipe from Victuals, an Appalachian Journey with Recipes by Ronni Lundy, published in 2016. Victuals is a James Beard Award-winning cookbook that covers a regional cuisine in the United States that's largely overlooked when compared to other regional cuisines like Cajun, soul food, Californian, New York Italian, and others. This book is of a genre that really highlights the actual ingredients themselves. Succotash is mostly just corn and lima beans, but this is the kind of book that shows you how to really bring out their inherent flavors and make something that's easy and quick but packed full of flavor. If you're interested in exploring rural, or as we say, country American cuisine, this is definitely one you'll want for your bookshelf. Do not underestimate this type of cuisine. If you make this dish, even if you think that you don't like lima beans and you think that you don't like vegetables, if you make this dish, I promise you will enjoy it. So with that being said, let's get started.
Here is our setup for making succotash. We have green onions, we've got lima beans, also called butter beans. Butter beans tend to be the younger lima beans. We've got corn and we've got butter, and then we'll have salt and pepper that we'll use also. This is a very simple side dish. It's a very simple country cooking from the United States, but it's really good if it's made properly. A lot of people, it kind of gets a bad rap because a lot of people had it growing up and it was using canned vegetables and not seasoned well and cooked to just mush. So we're not going to be doing that today. We're going to be making the good version. So, all right, let's get started. Step number one is just going to be cooking the lima beans. So we're just going to go ahead and put them in this water where it's already starting to boil, but they're beans. You don't have to wait for the water to boil before you put them in. Beans are pretty tough vegetables. So, and that's going to take somewhere between, you can just sort of taste them, but that's going to take somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes for these to cook all the way through once we get to a boil here. So just let those go, and we've got some more complicated things to do with the corn. So we will do that, and then we'll be back here. I'm going to show you how to use fresh ear corn if you've never done it before. I'm just going to do one of them here for demonstration purposes. But just peel back the husks. And man, this one's got a lot of husks today. Okay. Almost there though. All right, there we go. There is the corn inside. So this is called corn silk. You do not want any of that. It is not edible, and it is not good. So, I mean, I'm sure it's not going to kill you if you eat it, but it's not, the texture's not great. Nothing about it is great. So, okay, let's just clear all this out to the side for now. Finish picking off all of this silk because you do not want any of that. And so this is sweet corn. Fresh sweet corn really does just taste better than sometimes, I was talking about the beans earlier in the video. If you can get fresh, then absolutely, I always advocate getting fresh if you can get it. But not a lot. Sometimes things aren't actually that much different. There's not a huge difference between fresh and packaged or frozen. But corn is really one where it really does. It makes a huge difference in the taste and the flavor and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, no, there's some hidden silk over here. All right, we will finish picking this out after we take care of the next step here. So clear your board off from any silk that's fallen on it. And then what we're going to do is actually, I like to just trim the tops off to make this process a little bit easier. You can kind of get a preview of what we're going to end up doing here. But the way that you get the kernels off of the corn for a recipe like this, or really any other recipe, is pretty simple. You're just gonna literally slice it off. And then just go down the line to the next. Now, as you're going through this, especially your corn, when it's fresh, is going to leak what's called corn milk. You want to capture, that's why I've got a bowl here off to the side to immediately move all this stuff into the bowl, because you want that liquid. That liquid is gold, and when you're cooking with fresh corn, it's kind of the thing that really makes it just so much better than using canned or frozen. So, okay. And that's it. That's how you shuck well, I don't know if shuck is the right word, but that's how you get the corn off of the cob. And this is the corn we're going to use in our recipe. I'm going to do this with the rest of them, and then we'll be back to the next step. Okay, we've got our butter melting, and we're going to go ahead and just put our onions in the pan and get those sizzling here. And like I said, this is a very simple recipe. Nice vegetable side dish for whatever you're cooking. If you just really like vegetables, I suppose it could be a main dish. It is quite hearty with beans and corn, right? It's not vegan because of the butter, but it could be vegan if you wanted it to be, by using plant-based butter or something like that. It would be very easily convertible over into a vegan dish. So, okay, I'm going to let those fry for a few minutes, and I'll be back at the next step. Okay, the onions are nice and fried now, so next we're going to add the corn. And remember, the corn is raw at this stage. It's not cooked like the beans are. That's why we're adding it first, and that's why it's going to take a little bit longer to get going here. And like many things in the kitchen, you'll see this corn will start to turn more yellow as it cooks. So, all right. Just wanted to make sure that corn got nice and coated in that butter. All right, the corn's going to take probably about 10 minutes to cook, so I'm going to let you guys go until we get to the next step. Okay, corn's been cooking for a few minutes here, so we're going to go ahead and add our beans as well. It's looking really good. And at this stage, we can go ahead and salt and pepper as well. Yeah, I honest confession here, when I was a kid, I hated lima beans, like hated lima beans. I would fake that I was like gagging when I was eating them, and yeah, it wasn't good. But I've learned to appreciate them now that they're, for the same reason I mentioned earlier, they were just not made properly. They were just made in shortcut, canned, no salt, no seasoning, no anything. And as an adult, I find that they're quite good when they're made correctly. So, last sort of secret ingredient here that I didn't mention earlier, but that is about a quarter cup of whole milk to really sort of make this all sort of come together here. And you don't have to be, this is country cooking, you don't have to be super exact. It will all come out in the wash You want to cook this basically until it's essentially not dry, but essentially you're not seeing bits of milk. You want it to the liquid to mostly evaporate, the loose liquid anyway. It's always tasting. Oh man, that is absurdly good. It's honestly better than any just plain vegetable dish has any right to be for like a simple vegetable dish, right? But that's kind of the magic of what country cooks had to work with back in the day. So this is just about done. So, all right, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll see you at the final plating. All right, and here is our succotash. It is creamy and just has all that good vegetable goodness, and salt and pepper. You can do that liberally, and I'm going to dig in because this is nice and warm, and it's one of my favorite side dishes now after struggling with eating lima beans when I was younger. So, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.